expand, to continue to open up. Continue to open up and receive more, if you want to say spiritual data or data, but it's more, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical. You can't touch it. You can't quantify it, which causes trouble for those who ask, when you get to the dogmatic side or the, the truth, I got to keep looking at it, keep remembering the truth knowledge. If it doesn't fit their data, it's like, well, where you getting that from? I need you need to show me where you get that from. I can't show you.
Look, I need a source, brother.
I need a source. I need a book. I need something to make it align, or at least allow me to take the information and align it with what I've already been taught or whatever I've already been conceptualizing. And I know we all are here in a place like, look, I mean, I can't really necessarily help you with that, because what I'm giving you is experiential information.
Right.
And it may work for you, it may not. But one thing we said years ago now, it's been years now, is like, I cannot let another person's belief trump my experience of reality. I'm no longer in that place.
Ooh. Say that again, Adamo.
I cannot let another man's belief trump my experience of reality, because this is what I experience.
And it's unique to the development of your soul.
Yes.
Right? My soul is not supposed to develop the same way that Zocaine's is.
Facts.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we, soulfully, we are committed to different purposes, but the one purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, there's only one purpose, right? And that purpose is to love, right? To love thy neighbor as you love yourself.
Facts.
Right? How that is fractalized into the different components expressed as man, that is what it is.
It is what it is. Right.
Yeah.
And what came to my mind is going back into like a spectrum. When you said that, the spectrum from, when we look at this word we call spirit, pneuma, ruach, breath.
Right.
It's not necessarily tangible. We talk about spiritual like this abstract thing, but even physicality is spirit. A lot of people forget that. And even though I use it sometimes in our discussions contrastingly, I very much know that physicality is spirit.
Right.
It's just vibrating at a lower level where we see things as solid. So even understanding that, that's the, if you want to say, the weighty spectrum. And in that weighty spectrum, it's limitations, so to speak. Especially if you allow your consciousness to dwell heavily in that plane. And it goes back to what Malak says, when we talk about spirituality, which when I say it, I'm using it as a high vibration, a high expanding vibration, which is, you can't see it. It allows and it opens up. Whereas when you dwell in the physical matter or the intellectual aspect of things, going back to, what's that word? What's that again? Truth knowledge.
Right.
It caps off. It can only take you so far.
Exactly. Right.
Because now, if you have a dogma that says it has to be done this way, and the dogma comes from, 1545 BC, where they didn't have a lot of the things that we have now, to our knowledge, how do you take that dogma and play it out in this time with the technological advances, quote unquote, that we have, or different situations, circumstances that they weren't dealing with back in there, AC?
Right.
You know what I mean? How do you mitigate that?
Right. Exactly.
So it caps off. Now you have to go to the other side. You got to tap into the other side,
because that becomes your experience. Now things have to change.
It opens up. It expands.
Right. Don't keep you in the box.
Doesn't keep you in the box. I don't want to exhaust this aspect of the topic. I want to keep it moving.
Okay.
But before I do, I just want to let you know whether you're looking at the spirituality or the religious aspect or the dogmatic aspect, and we're really focused on the spirituality for real, because we're trying to look at the universality of it.
Exactly.
They both intersect where it comes with the faith-based
Right.
Because you have to have trust.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Belief it still falls into a belief area, because what you have, how you interpret it, is like, yo, did that happen? You may say, I know what happened.
Facts.
Well, another person might look at you and say, well, nah, you just believe, it ain't happened to me. So you're looking at me to believe that what you said is true.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
They both give direction.
Okay.
Your spiritual work, your spiritual repertoire gives you some type of guidance and direction into how you want to live your life.
Right.
Which, so does the religious or the dogmatic, the faith, that aspect of it. And as we said before, they both can overlap.
They can overlap.
And they both can lift your spirits. It's nothing more beautiful than being an assembly of people that's worshiping the Creator together. It's that oneness, that
right.
Somebody might be down. You just being in that place, that vibration uplifts the spirit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And over time, depending on either side, it becomes your lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It becomes your lifestyle. So this is where they all both intersect.
Right.
So moving on, understanding that, we're gonna go to, in spirituality, it's formless, which is what we kind of touched on. Whereas in the religious or the dogmatic, it's structured.
Right.
So, I mean, we don't have to go into that too hard because we kind of said a lot of it. It's like, when you have a structure of a thing, it's actually, it could become constricting. And I know people will say, well, no, I like my structure or whatever. That's because that's really because it depends on the soul.
Right.
You have some souls that are here to just
be structured.
Easy. That's their purpose. And in them being structured, they actually are teachers or guides to those who've come that may have no structure.
Exactly.
So they give them, they're an example to have structure in their life. But that doesn't necessarily mean that all the people that takes that example are going to stay in that place.
Exactly. That's
they
right.
may take that structure and apply it to certain aspects of their life while they are still formless. That's even a paradox in itself.
Right.
You have structure, but you're formless. You might be structured in your daily routine, but you're formless in your worship.
Right.
You might be worship. You might be a person that know how to meditate throughout the entire day.
Exactly. That's interesting.
I'm structured in how I shuffle. I put my paperwork together or whatever the case may be, and I might be like, oh, all praises.
Right.
I got a job.
Right. Reminds me of the Equalizer. Where he sit down and he places his stuff neatly, and then he hit the time.
Right.
When he ready to get at you. Mm-hmm. It's all structured.
It's structured, but it could be a form of meditation too.
And a form of meditation, which is interesting because if you go into looking at the movie, sometimes he had to come up out of the structure and get formless, so he can handle his stuff. Because sometimes it don't go exactly like he wanted it to go, so he has to start to be formless.
Malak, did you see it? We're talking about the equalizer.
Number 3?
3? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
That's a good example based on, if he stayed, when it was off, it flustered him.
Right.
And he asked for like coffee and she gave him some tea.
Yeah, right. Like
he was like, nah, this ain't it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he adapted to the situation.
By being formless, couldn't be that structured person anymore at that time.
Right.
So he had to be
because his environment caused him to change.
Right. The experience.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Go ahead.
It brings you to when you're in a structured thing, right? Because we all been there, right? When you're in this structured thing and you see a pathway out. Sometimes you may not see that. You may not even go because you be like, no, I'm not going over there. But once you see the experience from something else, you may venture out the door, out of that way, out of that box. And guess what happens? Sometimes, you get formless and you like it. So you're not in the box anymore. I'm like, oh, I'm not in the box no more. I can do this, but still hold to certain structured things.
Because that goes back into the overlapping,
Right.
and direction.
Which
You know, people ask me over the years, you know, like, you know, they know I have a lot of books. Well, what should I read? What should I read? I said,
Right.
well, I can't tell you what to read, but I can tell you where I got my foundation. And my foundation is from the Torah, aka the Bible.
Right.
Well, you want to say a Christian Bible, because that's what I read first, or the other variants of them, which is the Torah or the Tanakh, which is
Right.
considered the Old Testament. That's
Right.
my foundation.
Right.
Do I tell people they have to read that? No. But if
Right.
you want to know how I started, that's where I started, and from there things built upon it. That's my foundation. It's a blessing and it could be a curse, because with things shifting and changing as we move through time, as the way we experience time, you know, I've learned how to look at people very different than what you could interpret the Torah tells you how to look at people.
Right.
You know what I mean? I look at people as souls, not necessarily
Right.
what I see. Because that same breath that's in me is the same breath that's in them. That's a fact. It's not a belief. Because when I breathe in, somebody else is breathing out. When I breathe out, somebody else is breathing in. We share the same unseen medium that we all move through together. Whether you want to call it air or ether, we're all moving through this substance together. So even I see my brother over there, I see my elder over here, we connected.
Right. Facts.
And in that ether, guess what? It's energy.
Energy.
We're swimming through energy. Meaning you could think something and that brother could pick it up, not knowing that he's picking up a thought that you're thinking.
Right.
That's how you know somebody not feeling you.
Right.
Or they feeling you. You can
Exactly.
feel it through the ether, through the air.
Through the air.
But if you don't believe that and you just believe, now that brother's over there, he don't like me.
He's not with me.
He's not with me.
Right.
Or this is my land. They don't belong, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But we not okay. All of that being said, where's the humanity? If we believe in a creator or a source, and this is why I question what people say they believe in. If you believe, because again, you have to ask what the person believes in. I believe in a one supreme source that created everything.
Right.
That is everything. So every person, every sentient being that I can see, because there's things that we can't, that's an aspect of me. And I'm an aspect of it or they or them.
Right.
I'm going to try to destroy them. And if I'm trying to destroy them in the name of, am I trying to destroy them in the name of that one source? Or am I trying to destroy them in the name of an aspect of that one source that doesn't have forgiveness, doesn't have compassion or mercy on the elderly, the child, or says, it doesn't recognize no persons. Just destroy them. Get them up out of here.
Right.
So I don't question the people, because people, they love. I believe people really love their God or whatever the case may be. But they're following it how they interpret it.
Right.
And I question what that is. What is that source? Is it on an interconnected path, or is it on a separatist type of path? And I don't know how I got here, but that's where I'm at.
Right.
So,
That's interesting, because when you look at these things that tell you to go and do this and go do this to other people, you should question it. That's the first thing you should do.
you would think.
You would think they would question it. And you know what? They may have already had an answer. Because if you don't do it, I'm going to destroy you.
I mean, well, the answer is in the dogma.
Right.
The dogma it's its own gatekeeper.
Right.
Any
Yeah.
dogma that you have or you adhere to, it's its own gatekeeper.
Right.
Exactly. So
Sorry.
no,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Research it for yourself. A dogmatic belief system, religion, cultural practice, or whatever, it tells you in itself. It's like, yo, listen, if there's someone amongst you that ain't doing it the way you doing it, or ain't thinking the way you're thinking,
Right.
either destroy them or get rid of them.
Right.
Cast them out.
Cast them out.
And in that's a fair base concept in itself. But the way fair base works, it says it changes it to say that's love.
Mm-hmm.